Arsenal may want to look at someone who can support Zubimendi. Obviously, they played Lewis Skelly in there yesterday. So there's elements. City, I think, are out in there for one to back up Rodri. So I think you'll be 4 top clubs in the country all looking for these types of players.
Do you think that's where that feeling of softness has crept in with Liverpool? You talked about that earlier.
And I think, and obviously we saw it today. And I think the worst insult you can have.
Arsenal may want to look at someone who can support Zubimendi. Obviously, they played Lewis Skelly in there yesterday. So there's elements. City, I think, are out in there for one to back up Rodri. So I think you'll be 4 top clubs in the country all looking for these types of players.
Do you think that's where that feeling of softness has crept in with Liverpool? You talked about that earlier.
And I think, and obviously we saw it today. And I think the worst insult you can have.
Interesting. He knows where they need to improve. Do you?
Well, as we've said, you can look at any team, and it's been Manchester United's case. You get stopped in the street all the time. What's going on with Manchester United for the last 10 years? The only person that stops me in the street now is, what's going on with Liverpool now? And everybody has different, are they the signings? Or was it the Jota scenario at the start of the season? Is it the manager's not good enough? Is it, that they don't gel? Is it that they've had so many injuries? You could actually, and if you ask 10 different supporters or 10 different people, they will all give you but a lot of the time it's not one thing. It never is one thing. If it was one thing, a magic wand come in and just sort it, it'd be obvious to everybody. And football is, let's look at Manchester United. All of a sudden, you bring in a different manager, you go back to a formation that the players that play the positions and that know what positions they're in, and you know what I mean. That Bruno, for example, playing in a familiarity of positions. So all of a sudden, you just add 2 or 3 different things, and all of a sudden, confidence grows. And now all of a sudden, players that you thought were pretty average, and all those people that you said, hey, who's buying all these players? They need to be sacked. Hang on a minute, they've bought some good players now. Now people are starting to say, well, look at the the likes of Šeško and so. It just slowly starts coming, and the snowball starts rolling. Now, Liverpool know what it takes to win the league. They absolutely breezed the league last season, so they know what it takes, and these players have felt it, they know it, and a lot of them have been in that dressing room for a long time.
Can I take you back to the very first game of the season when we were pitchside at Anfield against Bournemouth, and all 4 of the summer buys went straight in? And we were discussing this about almost half the outfield players that had won the league had been changed for the very first game of the season. And since then, I know they started the season pretty well, 4 or 5 wins in a row.
But they weren't playing well, were they?
No, they haven't really got any collective momentum, have they?
And again, there's another scenario. Is that the reason? Is that the reason that he tried to check?
Too much too soon.
Too much too soon. Possible, yeah, absolutely possible. But there's so many different things. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's so many different things that you could say is the reason. But yes, he changed a lot. Like, I thought Andy Robertson was pensioned off too soon. I didn't think they needed to bring in a new left-back, really. Maybe cover, yes. Especially when you were losing Trent anyway. Especially when you were losing Diaz anyway. Especially when you were losing Darwin Núñez. There was players that were changing anyway. So just to compound that by bringing in players that you didn't really need to bring in. And then, obviously, things don't go well. And then players start playing worse than they have in the past. So, your Mo Salahs, your Van Dijks, your Konatés, your McAllisters all start to go downhill, let's say, or their numbers suggest that. And then all of a sudden, you've got a big problem. And as I say, as quick as things can go right and start snowballing, things can slip away. One mistake, and it leads to another mistake, and another mistake, and then confidence goes, and then it's all over, and then you start chop and change, and your head starts, and that's what's happened as well. So, a reset is exactly what Liverpool need at the moment. They've still got players in that squad that are good enough to challenge for the league title, no question about it. As I say, it doesn't take a person with a great memory to remember how good they were, a year ago. And they've been here before, by the way, as well. They've won the league the next season, absolute howler of a season, and then they bounce back again. So they will know that they can do it. They just need to get this season out of the way and start preparing again.
Because the numbers, when you look at them for league champions, and obviously the heights that they hit last season, that are currently gone to this season, Berber, is quite staggering, really. I mean, they're 8 wins less. I only lost 4 last season. 11, as I say, is their worst total in 11 years. Scored quite a lot of goals less, conceded 6 more. I mean, obviously the points are well down. I mean, it's not just a slight to medium change, that, is it?
It is, but again, to agree with everything that Michael said, in football it is like that. Sometimes you're the champion one year, the next year you're fighting for survival or barely playing any European football. I've been through this the same in Germany. One year we're playing Champions League football, the next year be relegated. So it is very strange. Sometimes in football you cannot find the right answer or the wrong answer. It's a component of many things going in and around the club. Is it an injury crisis? Is it player out of shape and form? Is it changing of the manager? Many factors can lead to that instability in a club, and you start wondering, start taking decisions, then decision end up not being the right one, then another one and another one, and in the end up you don't play great football, the season is pretty much over, you're not in a position you want to be, and you don't have the answer. So you just want the season to finish on the right way, and then you can't wait to start the new one, so to recover and make amends for the one before.
OK, and what we do understand and we think is that Arne Slot will still be the Liverpool manager next season. Let's turn it to who will be the Manchester United manager next season then. Michael Carrick has come in with somebody else's players, no pre-season, most points in that period. He's delivered now today confirmation of Champions League football. He's beaten every single member of the top 5 around him. Is there a reason not to give him the job?
I think we know the answer here. Unless, for me, I know the answer. I think I said it before the game started that with the work he has put in and everything he's done for the club, everything you mentioned so far, he fully earned the chance to be given to him for the next season. And I hope that's going to be the case because based on the interview Kobe Mainoo gave after the game as well, if he was speaking from the behalf of everybody in the team, like I was hearing, I think that he was speaking from the behalf of everybody. I mean, everybody loves him. Everybody wants to play for him, die for him, obviously on the pitch, go out there and perform. And it's obvious based on the points, the most points after he stepped into the position. So let's hope, at least I hope that he's going to stay. Of course, football doesn't work like this sometimes, but everything points out to him being and staying as the position of the manager.
And it keeps Liverpool waiting as well. Any doubt in your mind whether Manchester United deserved it or not, Daniel?
No, not after the first half performance. I think they edged it, didn't they? And I think they were more decisive when they needed to be. It could have gone the other way. Liverpool had a great chance in the second half, and you could have, if that goes in the back of the net, it's a very different game, and the complexion changes. And Man United are chasing, but I think overall they soaked up the pressure while Liverpool dominated the possession, as we saw in the statistics. But like I said before the game, statistics and possession and all of that, it's irrelevant. It's about scoring goals and getting results.
Certainly felt like Manchester United had to dig into their reserves at 2-2.
Yeah, even at 2-2, we can be critically United for giving up, losing that momentum and almost obviously gifting the 2 goals. But then to wrestle it back, and I still felt with the team, there was a bit of calmness. I still thought if anyone was going to win it, it'd be United. You still felt there were that goal threat. Now, United would also be lucky that there was no Salah or one of Liverpool's top strikers on the pitch, because I think they would have certainly created more problems for United. So we've seen the best and the worst of United today. Scored 3 goals, could have scored more, but they lost momentum. They're 2-0 up, and you're thinking, at half-time, you're thinking, we also want to see a complete United performance. We're just seeing bits and bobs over the last few months. But again, they gifted certainly the second goal, and even the first goal, even when they make the mistake, give it away cheaply. To run that distance and no one put a tackle in, it's not good. So they're the worries for United. You're on about the bigger picture next year in terms of competing in the Champions League. But to score 3 goals and get the job done, you have to give them all the credit.
Was the best of Manchester United in that first half when they came flying out of the blocks and it looked like they could hurt Liverpool at any moment?
Yeah, very much so. They came out the blocks very fast. We were all over the place, and this opportunity here, the connection he gets on the ball was decent, but it's the deflection that causes the issues. Obviously, Robbo's header could have been a bit better than that, but it goes right to the edge of the box to Cunha, and the first one there, but it's this here. You see the deflection off of Alex McAllister's backside, and it's in the back of the net. And we can kind of say Liverpool, like, you could look at it in a different way. Liverpool could say we're a bit unlucky. It's not unlucky, that it's a poor header, it's poor defending, people not putting, and even this part, McAllister giving the ball away cheap and then chasing it.
not good enough. And of course, then you've got space, you've got numbers, you've got United players running forward.
Is there a lot to like, though, about Manchester United attacking play
very
here,
good, very
Roy?
good. That's not the issue for Man United. United were always going to cause problems for Liverpool today, whether they were dominant possession or, as we saw in that play there, maybe hitting them on the counter-attack. And defensively, again, full-back's not doing the job. Bruno getting in there, Sesko standing there. Yeah, maybe a fortune. It might have come off his fingernail, shall we say. But United started so quickly. They've learned their lesson from a couple of weeks ago against Leeds. You've got to start quickly. And a helping hand, shall we say.
A little bit of a helping hand. VAR, again, if you weren't watching at half-time, said there's inconclusive evidence. Liverpool were pretty convinced that this does go in off Sesko's hand. But all the replays that we've seen, Daniel, that's probably the one that might suggest there's a bit of fingernail involved.
Yeah, that's the one there. And I think there's a connection on the ball. There clearly is. Again, they've decided it's not enough to overturn it, which is fair. But it touches, you can see it right there, boom. Even his hand, you see his hand movement. You see his hand moves. So,
but even when
he's touched the ball, but again, would it have gone in the back of the net if it not touched his hand?
Well, if it comes off his hand, it can't be a goal. So if they thought that was conclusive, that would have been chalked off.
Well, we just saw the touch.
But even when you turn up for these games, here we're talking about defending Robertson and McAllister, you still need your experienced players to at least do the basics right. And McAllister had a nightmare today. And even Robertson, the first half, for a couple of goals, experienced players not doing the basics right, and then they couldn't quite. Well, they did get back into the game, but you always felt United had another goal in them.
Was it a case of a little bit of a helping hand, perhaps, from Manchester United there, but then Manchester United giving Liverpool a helping hand coming out? Because I suppose we were a bit surprised that Liverpool didn't change things, but it didn't impact them too much, Daniel.
Not at all, and great interception here, of course. Looking around which decision he's going to make. It's got the ability to take somebody on, and it's a very calm and collected finish, goes through the legs. What we're talking about here in these areas here, you got to keep it easy, keep it safe. It's a poor pass, of course, and off they go. And it's
but when you make a mistake like that, which can happen, you want one of your teammates to help you out. You talk about defenders, Maguire and Dalot.
What do you want to see from Maguire and Dalot here?
Make better decisions.
Like
even
what?
Dalot, what do you mean, like what? Like tackling him. Here, look at Dalot. Not that intensity. Look, people go, oh, it's gone through his legs. I don't think them bits are unlucky. I think that's just not getting your positioning right. Not being dogged. No, credit to Liverpool from an attacking point of view. Oh, listen, he's ran 40, 50 yards, and when they made a mistake. But these are international defenders.